home in Homepumehana, and my neighbors and companions and dear friends have gathered together to talk story about an informal gathering just to talk story. And I like to begin by saying when I first came to Molokai on the ship Leleona, my parents, my father, my mother, and my sister and brothers, and I'm a poor sailor, and my father and I were so sick when we got on the boat in Honolulu. We just laid down on a mattress because we came steerage because my father couldn't afford uh, to purchase ticket for the room, so we came steerage class, and they just threw the mattresses on the deck, and we got our own blankets and we curled up. My father and I put our head down on a pillow and we slept all the way because we were so sick. My mother was a good sailor because her father was the captain of a ship too, and she used to spend her vacations going from island to island and even to San Francisco. So she was the one that sat up and took care of all of us. And and there was a time when the waves were rough and the water just washed on the deck, but we didn't dare move. My mother kept telling us, "Move over here." We wouldn't move because we were so sick. And then she gave us some selamokus on board the ship came and gave us some oranges and said, "Here, suck on the orange. You feel better." I said, "No." Then he said, "Come behind. We go eat salt salmon and poi." I said, "No way, I'm gonna move." And so my father and I just slept there until we reached Kanakakai, and then they said we had to get off and get on the launch. And so here was this cheerful little short Japanese, Henki Yamamoto, came out welcoming us, and it kind of helped, gave me a better feeling. And so we had to walk down the gangway and hop onto the little launch. But when we got on it, I got more sick because the launch just rolled and pitched and everything else. And I just snuggled up to my father, and we were both so sick he couldn't help me. And when we got onto Kanakakai Wharf, we climbed up, and I looked, and there were a lot of people there, a lot of new people from Molokai. The homesteaders there were quite a number of homesteaders that had just arrived in Molokai. And then we got on a friend of ours, my father's, came and picked us up on a old truck. It was a flatbed Chevy truck, and took us down to Kalama'ula. And the next day, I got up early because I was excited. I wanted to see what the place was like. I was so disappointed because all I saw was rocks and kiawe trees and barren land. And I said, "Oh, this place junk." And my father said, No, when we get our own lot, we'll fix it up. You'll like it here." And so I looked over my shoulder. I could see the beach, and I told my mother, "Oh, the beach is so near." I said, "Can we go down the beach?" She said, "Wait, I have to take you folks. I don't want you children going alone because it's you don't know. There's a lot of kiawe thorns, and you folks don't know where to go. Later on, I'll take you to go catch opai and crabs." But meanwhile, we were visited by Sheriff Lindsay. He was the sheriff of Molokai then, and he came because he heard that my father had arrived in Molokai. So he came to renew acquaintances with my father, and they were talking story, and I was sitting there. Then he told my father, "Do you need anything? If you need, you better go now with me. I'll take you to Kanakakai." And I knew that Kanakakai was the only town on Molokai, so I told my father, "Yes, let's go. He said, "But we don't need anything." I said, "Oh, we'll go buy crackers." And my mother said, "Yeah, we need crackers because we don't have enough crackers, and there's no bakery here." So we got on Sheriff Lindsay's car, and off we went to Kanakakai. And he turned and he parked by a Cheng Tung store, a Leong store. That was the only store then. And I saw all the horses tied to the post in front of the store, and I said, "My goodness, this only one car in Molokai." And Chef Lindsay started to laugh. He said, well, there's not many cars, but he said, that's why you see all the horses. The people come to do their shopping on horseback. So my father said, yes, I'm going to get a horse soon, and pretty soon we will have to come shopping on a horse. And so we went into the Changtung store, and Mr. Aliang came forward and greeted us because he remembered my father, and he knew that my father was part Chinese. And so he welcomed us, and then he gave me a lollipop, and then I said, I had no money. He said, no, this is free. I give you. This is aloha to Molokai. So I grabbed the lollipop and I sucked on it, and I was so happy. And I said, oh, Molokai have nice people. They give free candy. Then my mother went around and said she wanted some crackers, and so Aliang gave, got her a box of round crackers, saloon pilot. So then we stayed around for a while, and then I said, I want to walk around the town. And then he said, yeah, this is only my store, and next door is Lau Chu. He's a hardware store. And then further on up is a bakery. I said, Mama, they have a bakery here. And she said, well, I didn't know. I've been away so long that I didn't know they had a bakery. So I ran next door, and there was this man, Lau Chu. I guess you folks remember him. Yeah. His store was so cluttered up. But he knew where everything was, and then my father said, oh, I got to buy some fence nails. So he asked Lau Chu, I need a pound of fence nails. So Lau Chu said, okay. I looked all around. I said, my goodness, how is he going to find the nails? There's all kinds of rubbish or just chunks piled up. But he went near the floor, and he pulled out this box from under this cabinet, and there was the nail, and then he grabbed a handful, put it in a package, and he weighed it. Then he said, oh, here. So my father paid for the nail. The price, of course, was outrageous, but my father needed it. We needed it when we fenced our lot. So, and that's, I remember Lau Chu's store so well because, he had from soup to nuts, but you would never be able to find it except himself. And then I said, Mama, let's go to the bakery. She said, no. And then he said, then I said, I want to go to the bakery. I said, you don't want to go, give me some money. And she said, no, we just moved here, and we don't have too much money, and we have to go easier with our money. But anyway, she said, I'll take you up to the bakery. So we walked up, and it was where Pasqua store is now. That's where the bakery, Dangling Bakery. And Mr. Dangling had lots of children, all in all steps, and there are girls and boys, and they bake unique loaves of bread. We call them submarine loaves, small little loaves, individual loaves. And so I told my mother, I want one of that. And then she asked the girl, how much is it? And she said, oh, that's $2. I said, what? I said, Honolulu, we buy that only for a quarter. And she said, that's Honolulu. Here we have to bring flour and everything over by boat. And she said, and we have to order in bulk because to have enough, and we just bake once a week. And so, and I was anxious to taste what it was like, so my mother finally bought little submarine bread for me. And so with walking down the road, I broke half, gave my mother half, and then I was chewing on it. I said, Mama, it's tough. And then she said, oh, what do you expect? This isn't a first-class bakery. It's just a family bakery. And when we got down to my father, I gave him my half. I said, this bread is hard. And then he said, you have to get used to all this. You cannot, we don't have Love's Bakery here. So, anyway, those are the things I remember. And Kanakakai school used to be up by the armory, and you have to go over the flume to get to the school. So I told my father, is that the school I'm going to come to? He said, yes. Yeah, and I said, you're going to bring me every day? He said, well, you're going to walk for the time being until I buy a horse. And so I said, oh, far, yeah. And he said, yes. And then I said, what's this river? I said, what's this river we're going over? He said, that's flume. That's how they get their drinking water. Molokai Ranch, that's their flumes. And there's no water in the pipes. There's no pipes here for water. So I said, oh, I don't know if I can get used to this. So we went on home, but that was my first impression of Kanakakai town. I said, it's worse than the towns I see in the movies, the Western movies, cowboy pictures. And anyway, I said, we went home and that was our first day that we spent here on Molokai. And I just, Molokai is not much change. Kanakakai town, not much change, but there are a little more markets and a little more stores now. The Misaki family have been here for ages, and the Takaras and Imamuras. And across from Dangling store, there was a restaurant, and it was a Chinese restaurant, and the man that was a cook and the owner he was a dummy, and we call him dummy because he he was big. He looked like a sumo wrestler, short crop hair, and we all called him. That was his name, Dummy, because he couldn't speak very well, but he cooked delicious food, and my father used to go there all the time. They were good friends, and so, and then as we go out from the Kankakkai town and turn down to Kalamaula, right where the library is now. It used to be the old hall, community hall that was owned by Molokai Ranch, and it was a great big building. And there, directly across where the post office is, used to be the garage, Molokai Ranch garage, and then there was a small little building that had a post office, and James Hill was the bookkeeper for Molokai Ranch, and he operated the post office too, and he was such an interesting person to talk to, and oh, by the way, we have here in this Talking Star circle, we have Kupuna Moku Lima Kupuna Hallelujah. And Kupuna Linki and Kupuna Kaleikini. And we have a guest from Honolulu, Kupuna Mayoho. She's the one that Malama, the Royal Mausoleum in Nu'uanu, where all of our ali'is are buried. And she's well versed in Hawaiian artifacts, and she can tell you the story of the tombs and the different people that are buried there. And anyway, now you hear from Kupuna Kaleikini now. When she first came to Molokai, her husband was a playmate of ours from Pauoa, and when they arrived up here, we were so surprised to meet them. But we knew them as John Vahilani, and I think it was during World War II that they changed it to Kaleikini. But anyway, he is Becky now. She is a widow. John has left, and she'll have some interesting things to tell about when she first came to Molokai.
Go back my days when I first arrived here. I was single yet, and then when I arrived here, because I was tired of living corner with my parents. My dad was only that time. So when I left, when my grandma died, passed away, and then I left me with my dad and one little brother. So When my grandma died, then my uncle came from over here, Molokai to Kona. That was interesting to me to know that was my uncle. That was my father's brother. So after the burial and everything, my uncle said, "Oh, call me in Hawaii. Ke kapa, maki oi hele Molokai." I said, "Oh, certainly. I like to see Molokai. I haven't been there, and I like to be there to see Molokai." So he said, "Well, I'll take you to Molokai." So that's the first time I came here. It was interesting to me to know other island, Never before I only stayed Kona. I was 30 years old then. At that time when I left over there, come to Molokai. So my uncle was coming home, and then so he said, "Well, we gotta go Molokai. You wanted to go?" I said, "Oh yes, I like very much to go Molokai because I like to see the island." So that's how I arrived to Molokai the first time when I came with him. But we never ride the boat. We rode, a plane. We rode the boat that time. And I rode on Hawaii was the boat that time to travel from Kona come to Molokai. So that's how I arrived here with my uncle. And stayed with him, with his family. His family was here. And then 2 days afterwards he said, "How you like here?" I said, "Oh, very good." And then he said, "Would you like to go in a pineapple field and work?" I said, "Oh, I like to." Because being the first experience of learning how to pick pineapple and all that in a field, I like to. So we went. The second day I
You
went
lived up at
to
Holehua when you
Yes,
first came.
Holehua.
And what is your uncle's name?
John Kahikina.
Oh, Dorothy's father.
So we went to, that morning, the second morning, so we went to the pineapple field, and his family used to go to the pineapple field and work, picking pine, box them in the box, and then the truck come by, pick up the box.
Those days we had small little crates.
Yeah, crate. They put the pineapple in a crate. And then that's how I learned how to pick pineapple, because it's an experience to me to learn how to pick pineapple when I first came here with my uncle. And I enjoyed yeah, I enjoyed it because being the first place I learned Molokai was pineapple and learned how to pick. And it was very good to me. And so in my mind I was thinking, gee, whether to go back Kona or stay here. In the meanwhile, while we were working in the field, I like it because in Kona I was getting tired, only go fishing. I'll go sell the fish, My my dad used to go fishing and I go sell the fish. I like that too. But when I got out from Kona, this place, another place, it's a different experience that I have learned about pineapple field. To me that was great, in my days. I was 30 years old then. I was that old to know other island. Not before that, only stay in Kona. And that's what I said, my days, I used to go sell fish. And not on car, on donkey and horse. That's how we go out and sell those fish, the squid, the fish, everything that my dad catches. Then I was the only girl. My oldest sister got married. And me and my little brother, just two of us, we go and sell. Well, he likes to ride the horse. He don't want the donkey because they're too small. And he said, "I don't want to ride the donkey. I want to ride the horse." I say, oh, I scared too big, more big than me. I wanna ride the donkey because they're small. He said, no, I don't wanna ride the donkey. We ride the horse. So we go and sell the fish for my dad. That's how we was making our living over there, in Kona. And that is that is my experience. And when we arrived here and then got to the homestead, and then I started to stay here with my uncle till today. When I got married, I found a man that
I know, Kupuna.
started home pula pula, stayed here and raised. I had 4 children, 2 boys and 2 girls. That's the children I had with my first husband. And then when he died, my children grew older, and then he was 54 when my oldest son died, 34 when my oldest son died, and then left me and my rest of 3 children. My oldest when he died, and then afterwards my oldest boy died in Molokai. He was sick and we took him to the hospital in Honolulu, and he stayed there from then on until he died. So that's part of my history on doing my time. Until today, I still here. I never go back to Kona. I like it here very much because I found a man from Molokai. So I stay here till today.
That's a wide contrast from Kona to Hollywood.
Yeah.
Kona is, the ocean is there, it's beautiful, peaceful. Hollywood with the red dirt and pineapple fields.
Pineapple
I worked in the
fields.
fields 5 years.
Right.
Really.
It's hard work. And now we could hear from Kupuna Linky.
Well, to begin with, I was born and raised here in Waialua. It's up East End, Waialua, Molokai. And then my father and my mother raised us. They had 12 children, and I be the youngest. I didn't see my older brothers and sisters. I only saw 3 of them. With myself, 3. My oldest sister, that's Moses Pauoli's mother. I think some of you know. That's my nephew. And then my brother, who is still living, he's about 76 years old. And myself. And then we lived in Waialua. We had our own place. We had our house. We had taro patch lands. My father always went out up the taro patches to work in a taro patch. And my mother and I stayed home to, we had so much things to do. Every day my mother had something for me to do. To go pick lauhala, to clean the lauhala, and let it dry for a while. The next day we would go take the cuckoos out and then roll it up and put them in a roll, and then we let it rest for a while, maybe 2 or 3 days or maybe a week. Then we strip it up and make strands to weave mats. We used to make about 9 by 12 mats, just for the house. And I learned to do all those things. And I'm thankful because what I learned from my mother. But she used to prepare all the lauhala. I don't do those things because, too much work. With all that work, you get tired. I'd rather sit down and weave. And she does the preparing. And they have their own ways of preparing. They strip the lauhala into half. The whole leaf is, you can get 2 pieces. And then they put them in a bundle, they tie it up. Then they pound it on it to soften the lauhala. We never had a machine for roller like that to put the lauhala in. So they used to get we call it ho-hoa. Pound the lauhala on the stone, put a bag over so that won't break up the lauhala. Pound it, sometimes you have about 30 of that. And then One early in the morning, that's the best time to pound, and late in the evening, because it's cool air, not hot. If you pound it when it's hot, it's no good. The lauhala get all cracked. So my mother used to do that. Then when it's ready to strip, she'll sit down and strip up a part. She'll roll it up and put it in a blanket. Everything has to be just so with them. They roll it up in the army blanket and leave it underneath the bed over the side of the bedroom. Then when I'm ready to weave, she'll tell me, okay, you weave this bedroom or this parlor, 9 by 12. Then I sit down and weave. You see, she taught me how to weave, so I started to weave. Double weave mat. And I used to do that. Many times I wove mat. But, being Hawaiian, I think we have that custom to be so kind-hearted that we never have anything for ourselves. Every time people came, oh, you have a beautiful mat. There you go. Hemel the mat, roll them up, give them. That's what happens, with us Hawaiians. And my mother is like that, and I have the same habit. I don't have any lauhala mat in my house. I never learned how to weave hat, only mats. That's the only thing I weave. Then I remember when I was small, one time we went up to the taro patch. My father worked in the taro patch. Then my mother said, oh, we're going to spend lunch up, we're going to have lunch up there at the kahawai, where my father was working. So she told me, well, let's go down the kahawai, that's me, the stream. We go catch o'opo. So I said, okay. Then we went down the stream, and she went look for this, what you call that? Leaf, hola. We call it hola. She got this leaf, and she pounded on a stone, she pounded right on the stone with another stone, pound. She threw them in this little ditch. And we could see the o'opus, plenty of o'opus in there. So she threw this hola in there. And when she threw it, the o'opus all got dizzy. Some fell to sleep. So easier for us to catch them, So, we had enough to eat. So she said, okay, you go pick luau. So I went up to the taro patch. I told my father, what patch can I pick the luau from? He said, oh, that patch over there. So I would go there and pick the luau. She said, don't make too much, just enough for lavalu this
What's called a weed, hola.
hola. Hauhuhu, some call hauhuhu. Yeah.
Hola.
But us over here we call
Hola.
What the other word?
hauhuhu.
Auhuhu.
Yeah.
Oh,
But we
Yeah.
hau
Auhuhu.
au. Yeah, hauhuhu. Yeah. Well, anyway, we call it over here hola because I hear my parents say that it's hola.
anyone of that stuff around? They have.
Gee, I don't
Up at
remember
Papua
now.
or
I
one
don't
place.
know. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
still, I asked my
Correct.
brother one time if he remembers, that plant. I want to go see it again. I want to go try sometimes, But he said he don't remember.
I see
Maybe
that in
only
Telecom.
those old
Yeah,
Kupuna
yeah,
it's wonderful, It really true that all sleep.
Stand
Yeah,
like
because it's a drug.
drug.
It's just like Clorox,
Yeah.
when you put Clorox inside, Well, that's what the Filipinos used to do, come up our stream and throw Clorox inside. That's how they catch the opus,
Yeah, but that's how they kill all of them.
Yeah, the Clorox not good. The that hola is really better, yeah.
Temporary.
So
Hola.
my mother made a fire, up there, the kahawai, plenty wood. So she went pick wood and brought the luau. We both clean the luau down the stream. We lavalu this opu, we take salt and poi. No poi, but taro and
Yes,
potato.
You make it a bo ono.
And that's how we have lunch up there, nothing else. And my father would plant by the pie of the taro patch, his vegetables, onion, cabbage, all kinds, While they're planting taro, they have their vegetables right there. So I remember that time, and I really enjoyed, Being the youngest, I would go with my father and my mother
Yes,
every
no,
place
it's-
where they went. Then when we get home sometimes, and my father and my mother would say, oh, tomorrow morning, early 2 o'clock in the morning, we go in the kahawai, by the bridge, go pua, get pua in there, the small kind pua.
Yeah.
Oh, they're so used to going, They come home just enough, one big pan, not for for the day.
Yeah,
You know.
that's the way we were taught.
Yeah.
Just catch enough for you to
Yeah,
eat.
not more than
Don't put
enough.
not more than
And
that.
wait,
Tomorrow,
yeah.
people of the Hawaiian race
That's
know
what I
how
always
to
had.
eat
They always
now.
My
had.
parents
They always
were
had.
like
Not
that.
tomorrow. Next day don't. They catch for 2 days. Tomorrow is
Yeah.
gonna be tomorrow. Keep on
And you
going
know,
down.
those things I remember. And then I remember this Chinese store we had up there, Ishan store. That's the only store we had in Waialua, no other store. Then after when he died, there was no store up there. Then a pink store came by, so that's the only store. And from Waialua to a pink store, about 4 miles. It's far, you know, and we have to go by horseback to go buy groceries from down there. But he had a car, you know, the son had a car, would come up and take orders from the families up there, and then he would bring the order in the evening when he make his last trip up there. So I remember that Pake store, Ishan. And oh, he had the best crack seed. We never forget that. Of all the goodies he had, the crack seed was the most important to us. And those big ones come from China, you know. Oh, all in a Chinese box, you know. Yeah, every time he have crack seed, we running over there. As long as we have a nickel, we're going to spend our nickel on the crack seed. And we didn't care of anything. But when we go out picnic like that, oh, we love that condensed milk and cracker. And round cracker saloon pilot. Oh, we love that. We used to live on that.
Make 2 pukas on a can, one for air and
Yeah.
one for
Yeah, suck the condensed milk. And you know the funniest part, before we never used to know what was condensed milk all the time. You know, we just had taro, potato, breadfruit. That's all what we live on. And of course my parents fed us on poi all the time. Never fed us on breadfruit because I wasn't used to eating breadfruit. But the taro, because we had taro patches as long one was finished, the next one was ready. You know, that's what they were doing every time. Yeah, we had supply every as we go along. We always had.
Throughout the year, you
Yeah,
have to
My father was really a farmer. You know, working in a taro patch, and he would go fishing. Not too much on fishing.
Them days the Hawaiian live.
Yeah.
Oh,
If you lazy, you can't
Wow.
eat. But if your hands are
live.
All right.
you go around, go get this, get that. My mother would tell us, okay, go down the kakai, go get opai.
Right.
And we used to go. We don't know how, but she gave us the net. We go try till we catch it. At least we have something. She's satisfied. And even the crab, go pick alamihi, go pick ohiki. As long past the meal, that's enough. We never had meat. You know, we had jackass. Donkey, they love it. Oh, that meat is good.
Did
Oh.
that?
I remember we live on that meat, you know, donkey meat, and it's no.
only sometime, huh?
Yeah, sometimes because we don't
Not
have
all the
too much
time.
of that
Them
in
days
here.
you used to get plenty alamedi. Today you don't
Oh,
see
no
no
more.
alamedi.
Yeah.
Why is that?
And really, we never had stove in the house. We used to cook outside, and every Saturday, that's the custom of Waialua. You see the taro, you know, mahu'ai going up. You know, when you see that smoke going up, everybody cooking taro on Saturday. And my brother used to get up early in the morning to cook our taro about 2 o'clock. And when it's ready to peel, the taro is all turned brown, you know, this reddish color, yeah? They say ahulu the taro, you know, because
When all
overcooked.
peel it
And
peel it.
ono, you know, ulika the taro.
Ulika,
Yeah, ulika. And then that is good with the condensed milk too. Yeah, and we didn't suffer from toothache, you know, with all that kind of food, because we mostly ate on boiled food. We never did fry anything, or pulehu, you know, broil. That's all what my parents would do. Never, or raw, never fry with oil, nothing. Everything was boiled or put it on a charcoal.
You follow that oil that time?
Huh?
Had island that time for fly.
Hardly
any, huh?
No,
No
hardly
more,
any. They
that's
used to
why
keep the
they
pig,
don't
you know, the fat of the
That's
pig.
why
They
you
make
do
their
that.
own
Yeah.
oil,
That's
yeah.
why.
And then I like this pancake, lina kind pancake. You know, that's
Dobi,
one of
dobi.
the, yeah. Well, and the other kind, you know, that plau pupu.
Yeah,
oh,
You
yeah.
know that? Oh, I
Right
never
up
forget
on
that. Yeah,
Some
we
people
call
say
that
moku.
plau pupu. Some call kaupu bread. You know.
Then you put the
Dumplings.
condensed milk on it.
Oh,
boy.
oh, I love that with milk. You know. Now and then we would have that, and we never crave for these things now of today. But today we are very spoiled with everything. With all the
Because you
food
get
coming out, that's why we're having all kind of sickness. I believe in that
I
because those
think it's
days
that way.
we never had toothache or what.
We never had problems.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh,
We
all
never
kind of
had
sickness.
gum, and you know how we used to get our gum from the tree. Yeah, the pilali. We used to go get the gum and chew it.
The ulu pilali. Yeah.
And you know, Mary Mendonca and I, we're both first cousins, see, and with Jenny Wood, Jenny Wood, we're all cousins because our mothers were all sisters. So we would all go play together, and when it rains, then we run underneath the stone and hide. I would dig a hole and put the stone down and cover it up. I don't know why, but we just did it for the fun of it. Then we say, Malia Malia kau poha poha kala, you know, and then don't take long. Powder rain, you know.
Go away.
Mother, you put it.
Japanese.
Yeah, no, but you see,
They
that's all in fun. But I remember those things, you know, what we
It's
did.
not in a prayer, but they believe they can do that. If our old folks can do that by praying, why not we do it our way and find out for ourselves?
Yeah, that's right.
Like us, we're going through that life.
Yeah.
Got to go through that life.
That's a beautiful life, you know. When you compare that life to that time and this life today, this is a different life altogether,
Right.
too fast. But that life was really something that you can always go back and think about it, you know.
It's a beautiful life that day.
Yeah.
It's all like
Oh, of course we learn a lot of things, but I'm not sorry I learned from my parents. You know, she always made sure that she had another work
parents
for me
always
to
teach
do.
you
you
the
know.
right thing.
Mhm.
Your parents never taught you the wrong thing. Teach you the right thing. You do it the wrong way you saw. Yourself does it, not the parents.
Yeah.
It's us children.
And they only talk to me in Hawaiian, but I answer them in English. My mother would understand, but not my father. So my mother would tell him what I was saying. My mother would understand a little bit. But you see, then on I could hear them talking, then I pick up my Hawaiian that way, you know. I never used to talk Hawaiian, but I just learned that way from
You
hearing
move
them
among
talking
you.
all the
You
time.
always
Yeah.
among them.
So I'm not sorry today. I'm teaching Hawaiian language in the schools.
Glad to hear.
This is something that, yeah, I never dreamed that I would be teaching in the school Hawaiian language, but this is the life.
That's right.
Well, just like she was in Kona.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
from Honolulu.
Uh-huh.
I'm from Honolulu. Hardly we hear Hawaiian people talk. It's mostly going to be in English in
Yeah.
Honolulu. But when we come over here, different. We hear people over here talking Hawaiian, so we got to pick up and understand what they're talking about.
Uh-huh.
I don't know too much Hawaiian, but I used to ask my mother. That's how it was.
I remember, you see, where we live, it's more like a family valley. Because all my uncles, my mother's brothers, all live all together, see. Because they came from Klaupapa. My grandparents came from Klaupapa. Because when Klaupapa was turned to leper settlement, then they had to find land up here for these people to live. So that's how we got the land from up here, up East End. From mountain down to the
there
beach.
was a homestead
Yeah,
down at Papa.
yeah.
Kanalua, I think
That's
was the
how
name.
my parents came out from
Kanalua.
grandparents.
Homestead.
Uh-huh. And my mother is a Kahanui girl, so that's how usually all us family had placed right around that area in Vaialua. So we went to, like my uncles were fishermen, and they were great fishermen. But they had this kind, pohaku too. Oh, that pohaku was real mana. When they call for akule, the akule stand right outside, and they go get it. As long as they have enough for eat, that's enough.
No.
And they want some other kind of fish, it comes.
They come.
But
Yeah.
it's no
Nowadays you
good. It
can't.
comes right back to you again, you know, to the same person, you know. I remember that, you know. My mother telling us the story. But we see the fish, but we were small those days. We don't understand those things.
And now we hear from Kupuna.
Hallelujah.
Kalalu.
I thought I could be less so I can listen to all the people that come from Honolulu.
Are you from here?
No, from Maui. I was born in Maui and raised the way my people brought me up.
Yeah, I believe. Yeah.
Brought me when I was, well, just before I went to school. And on Maui, I had a tutu that was deaf tutu man. And they planted taro up in the mountains, but lived down the beach. And when it was time to harvest taro and go pound poi, they just put me on a horse and take me up with them, with both grandma and my grandpa. He was deaf. He was a deaf man, and he likes to sing, but he sings off tune all the time. And we get a kick when we listen to him, but it's alright. He sings in Hawaiian, and so most time only.
Sunny.
And so I was brought up really by Gabriel. My kupunas most of the time raised me up. And when I was about 8 years old, when I was about 8 years old, no, not 8. I started off school in Honolulu, and Emma Sharp was my teacher. Mrs. Sharp, she was a father again, my teacher. And about 7 years old, my two lady from over here wanted me to come over, so I come over with them. And lived here most of the time. Had time in those days there wasn't very much work, and times were hard, so money was hard to get. And most of the living was made going fishing to get fish out of the sea, planted potatoes for eat with the fish, and also taro. And sometimes when there was not enough food, a mountain was where we went for. You get a pea, and they cooked it and made it into boiling and eat that and eat the fish too. It was good life. Of course, you being small, you think everything was all right, you know. And I remember at that time, the time I was living with my grandma over here and grandpa, there was this Father Henry. No, not Father Thomas.
Yeah, Father Thomas.
You remember
Yeah.
Father Thomas?
I
He was a
remember
Catholic
him.
priest, and his work was to go down to Klaupapa. Maybe once a month he goes down to Klaupapa to preach to those people there, and then he comes up the Pali, and his headquarters was Klu'a. And by the time he leaves Kaunakakai, on his way from Klaupapa, he stops off over here, ministers to these people down here in Kaunakakai. He comes over. By the time he gets to our place, which was Kaamola, just past Kamalo, it was dark already, and we sometimes were about having dinner at that hour. He'd park his house, he'd tie his house up the road and comes down. We'd offer him what we had to eat. We had pancakes sometimes, and poi, fish, cooked fish, and he'd sup with us too. He'd have supper with us. And then when he gets through, sit and talk a while, and he goes on home. And I went to school in Kalu'a, and that's where I saw
Gabriel
These
and I
people.
were schoolmates, and I.
and then later when school was over, the 8th grade was all they had up in Kalu'a. And so when we finished school over there, we had to go up to Hollywood, or I mean, if we wanted to, we had to go to Hollywood for school. There was no place else. And a friend of ours had good friends up there, which was Mr. and Mrs. Bright, and they asked if we could go and live with them and work, work up there to pay for our board, and we would attend the Hollywood school. And yeah, they agreed. So up we went. There's a Mrs. Nehor now, and I went up and stayed with Mr. and Mrs. Bright. And from this, their home was just across the school. We'd go there to school, work early in the morning. We'd get up, tend the chicken, feed the pigs, the dogs, and whatever they had over there. Nehor would Dorothy would take care of the house, help with the house, and I'd go out and tend the chickens and animals, yeah. And in the evening we'd come back, after school we'd come back, go in the field and hoe hana, cut grass.
Wait,
And that's where I
John,
met,
wait for us to
I also met Sister Harriet's brothers, and your husband too, John.
Yeah, John.
When I first came over, before living with my grandma, I had to go up the ranch and live with my aunt, Rachel Puiliao now. And they were there and worked at the ranch, working for Molokai Ranch. I had to go live with them for a while. And the school was just across the way where they have the, now I think it's an office over there. We used to have an old one building for schoolhouse. It was an old schoolhouse. Mrs. Goody, E.S. Goody was the teacher at that time up there. And the kids, the new homesteaders were from Hollywood. They'd have to walk up or ride a horse. And gee, boy, it's a distance from their place to come to Kuala Lumpur. Of course, early in the morning we'd get over there to school, and these people would come up from first grade to sixth grade
was at Kuala
that time.
Lumpur.
At Kuala Lumpur.
Oh, yeah,
Long
yeah,
time
that's
ago.
right.
And that's where I met John and Charlie. Oh, John was a bull. He come from the other side, boy. Oh, Germany. We'd have a time. I was there for some time, and then when Hollywood started coming up, they built a school up there in Hollywood. Then they cut the school off at Kuala Lumpur, and we had to walk over. I was trying to go over to Hollywood at that time. And well, it was a good life. Hard, but we learned many things. We learned how to get around, how to milk cow. At 4 o'clock in the morning, you get up, because you had to live with somebody and had to go to work. Work for you. 4 o'clock, get out and go milk the cow. To get milk for the house. In the evening, come back. Well, you go on in the garden or whatever, cut wood. At that time, we used to have that big iron stove.
All by wood, yeah.
They used the what you call the ranch supplied that for the homes, for the ranches workers. Sometimes you came back in hungry, we pick up pigeon peas.
Yeah, there's a lot of.
Pick up pigeon pea, boil that thing, and munch on pigeon pea. And
It's another kind of pea we used to pick.
the kind of the
The
mountain.
kind of the mountain.
Yeah, that's what we ate too.
That one is good. I remember our place used to have
That with fish,
plenty.
holly,
Yeah.
people who didn't have
Real
food,
filling.
that pea up in the mountain was
Yeah.
what they lived on.
Comes in a pot,
Yeah. You go up the mountain, you pick them up and you
Yeah.
cook them.
I used to like that. Oh, you just,
All them things
take them off like that.
nowadays,
The skin, you throw the skin away and you eat them.
meat.
And the dry ones would pick it up and then soak it in the water.
Water.
Yeah, just soft
Yeah,
and
then
boil it.
boil it up. Just,
We used to make balls.
it was a staple at that time
That
too.
kind of pea
If
balls
the
and take
people
them for
didn't
lunch
have
to school.
any potatoes, or maybe it wasn't ready,
Open
or taro
and
wasn't ready,
beans.
potato wasn't ready. Potato was ready. Up the mountain they'd go if the thing was there to pick up pea. This pea that we're talking about, and that is staple for the people, for some of the folks. Yeah, while living at Holu, I learned many things to work, how to work in the pineapple field. We had to work for health.
Don't eat.
And then after I got
Yeah,
through
that's
with school up there, all they had was 10th grade, up to 10th grade. And Mr. and Mrs. Bright wanted to send us to St. Louis because they were Catholics and wanted us to send. She had a son named Lala, and he and I were supposed to go to St. Louis. And well, when the time came, my dad, who was in the East End then, he couldn't make it. I mean, he couldn't keep his family going, the rest of the family, because he told me that he was going to keep my sister home from school, and she was only I think about 6th grade at that time, because he couldn't afford it. And I think I had to give up going to St. Louis to go to work so that I could help with the family, keep the family. We had a large family, a big family. Work wasn't too much, you know. At that time, it was county. You only can work about 10 days,
Yeah,
and,
a lot.
which was very
Yeah.
only about 10 days for a family man, 5 days or 3 days for a single person. And at that time, it was only $3 a day, so it was hard. So I stayed over from school and gave a chance for my sister to go to school. The rest of the family, anyway. Well, time came when he passed on. I had to go to work for the family, and then, well, I wasn't making that much money, but the welfare, I had an aunt who was a postmistress up here, Mrs. Kalo'i, and she went to see the welfare people to help my mom and the family. And they said, oh, they were willing to help if I left home. I had to leave home, so I was just about 18 at that time, 17. So I left home and went up to Holihu and stayed with the Niho people, Mr. Niho. He
You
was a
mean
pastor at
with
that time.
Kalaki?
Yeah,
Oh.
he was a pastor at that time, and he had pineapple fields. So since we went to the same church, we asked him if I couldn't go up to work with him. I worked for a while there. Of course, whatever money I made went home to feed the family. To the rest of the family, it was pretty hard to take care of them. It was small with children at that time. Anyway, I had a friend who was working at Papa, Dan Karawaki. One time during the summer, one summer he came up and we were hauling pineapple at that time. And I happened to be down the pier. We took a pineapple load down there, and he was there. He said, "Hey, Gabe, let's go to Honolulu." And you know, being young and get away from it all. I said, "Yeah, all right." I said, "Why? Well, how come you want to go?" He said, "Oh, he met a woman that he liked very much down Klopapa while he was there working, and she had come over to visit some folks there, and he fell in love with her and wanted to go down there, and he wanted me to come along. So I said, yeah, okay. I went home, grabbed. In those days, we didn't have any baskets, clothes baskets. Got a sack,
bag.
this rice sack or flour sack. Clothes are pretty. Tied up, button off. I went to Kanaka, and that night, that evening, the barge was leaving, a loaded bus, a barge of pineapple. There was quite a number of people. I think it was a time when they had Mormons had a convention in Honolulu, and we caught the same barge. It was a lot of people, so it was not too bad.
Yeah.
And we went down there, and well, life started for me down there. I worked for the Dillingham people down when they first started dredging Pearl Harbor. The entrance, the coal docks were there at that time. They were dredging to widen the harbor. I worked there for a time, and of course, when we were there, I was living with this Dan's family, and we lived way out Kokohe. He and his uncle would work daytime, and I'd go. If the shift was nighttime for me, then I'd take them down in the evening. Or if nighttime for me, they take me down in the evening and leave the car in the morning for me when I come back and drive myself home. in the evening I'd leave the car there and then catch a boat and go out to work. We had to go all the way down to Pearl Harbor from this station was at the depot now, the depot in Honolulu. That's where we caught the train and went down. It was experience something, well, being from here when we went down to Chi, when we had work and we see money, wow, all out for working, you know. I worked there for some time, then finally he got hitched up with this friend, with this woman he was with. He left me there with his aunt and uncle. We were way out Coco Head. And in the meantime, I befriended a woman who later became my wife. Very, I don't say features not beautiful, a beautiful woman, no. She taught me many things. I'm thankful for that. And well, later on, I came back. I used to make trips here, back and forth. I used to see Bo before at when they had dances and stuff up at Hollywood. While I was attending school, I'd see him there. And many people I saw at that time I was up there. And listening to these people talk about their experiences when they were young, the same happened to me too. We learned when we were very, very young. I mean, we learned the old way, how to get along with what we had. You know, we didn't have much, but it was enough. It was enough for us. And we're here today. When fishing, that's another thing. When they maybe Saturday they prepare the taro to be cooked for poi pounding, for poi making. Early in the morning, some people would stay home and cook the taro, and some would go out fishing, catch a color or whatever you can. We knew just about, maybe if we went out 2 hours, by the time we got back, the thing was done. And people were already peeling the taro, getting ready to pound. We come in with the fish, and the coals are all spread out. And there we went, put little fish, color on the coals, manini, whatever we had. And the taro, we just broke out the back end of the taro, which was, we call it ulika.
Ulika.
It's gummy. It was very good though. That's the best part of the taro.
Taro, we used to look for that all the time when we peel taro.
And another thing we had when it was season was mangoes. You know, when they, that went well with the taro and the fish and coconut. The coconut, you know, the very young coconut, get it off the tree, scoop out the meat, put them in a bowl, and that we'd have with the fish too. We lived. Crabs. If we were short of, no fish at home, you know, just went down to the beach along the what you call it, the loco. On the outside, they look for eels, the white eel. Go to the whole skin, bring home.
And they're good eating, you know.
It was a simple life. It was a simple life that we lived, but we survived. And we're here to tell the story today. Now I left here many years. I left the islands, and only recently, about 3 years ago, I come back to roost, to retire, and that's why I'm here. In this home and I find it a beautiful place, a very nice place to live.
Yeah, we want
Quiet.
all our people from Molokai to come back, but there's not enough job. We need them home just as much as they're getting out of it, but where's our jobs for
Yeah,
them?
that's a reason for leaving.
And that's just the reason why.
That was the reason for leaving the islands. Most of the young people didn't have work.
He was one of them.
There was
That's
only
the
there was only county jobs, and of course the pineapple. Pineapple was all right. And that's why we had to leave the island.
Oh, yeah.
Now we're home to roost. Yeah. Now it's
You know,
your
it's
turn.
a-
Now. Let's
It's
see
a
if
wonderful
we-
thing that we all staying in Homikumahana and now
Yeah,
we're
we
bringing
talk
out our
about
life
Yeah,
story,
our
you
life
know.
story right
That's
here.
really nice.
Ironic.
Yeah, times were
Yeah,
hard.
yeah,
Times were hard.
Right.
It was hard to come by money. Wow.
Yeah.
But when we had, it was a treat.
Yeah, party.
It was a treat. The bread at that time too, we didn't have.
Yeah.
You only could buy maybe flour.
Flour.
Who knew how to make? Who knew how to make bread over here? No butter. All we did was mix the flours and put in yeast and fry it on the pan. But it was Chinese people. And
I
they-
was lucky.
Yeah.
My mother, she was born in Hawaiian Island, raised in the United States, Tuala County, Salt Lake, same like my dad.
So they know how to
And
make
she know
bread.
how to make bread.
Yeah.
See, she know how to make donuts. And she know how to make cake. You see, and she can make ice cream for us
Well,
kids
they
before.
raised in the holy country,
Yeah,
so
yeah, as you see. But when came Hawaii, different life.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful
Yeah.
days.
I remember.
It had its hard times and yet its good times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we find a good time.
I remember we going to swimming naked. No, we never think nothing wrong about it.
No hassle, you know. There was no down the
It was
street.
just,
In your
you know,
mind.
life, you know.
We don't know that
Life.
But as life goes on, things change, then we know just
Today,
that
boy, a
children
lot
are
of changes.
We only
Now
know-
you tell the children, oh, go without clothes. Oh, no, cannot. Yeah, they won't. Not like
We used
our
to go
days.
swimming in the stream, the girls. There was no
never think about it.
nothing.
You remember what that little bridge?
Of course, maybe
You
you
know,
tease one
that-
another, but
That's where
about
we
all
learned
the-
to swim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right there with
The pineapple trucks from Puoku used to come down. They used
Oh,
to have
yeah.
pineapple up there, you know. Way
Take it
back,
down,
Mr.
come
Brown's time, he was the manager for Puhoku. And then when they used to come down, oh, we used to yell for pineapple. They
Chop
throw them down. Yeah, we go out right on the top, the highest, but this is a new bridge, the wooden bridge before. We used to jump from up there, jump down in the water. Oh, we used to have a lot of fun. We used to play master.
Yeah, that's one of the days.
You know, those days.
Yeah, Henry Meyer and other mine used to be the driver. I went up there one season. Just
Yeah,
see
I
what it was
remember
like.
Bo coming up to Bob Lindsay's
Yeah.
place, you know.
All the good